Introduction. Most engaging part. I didn't want to make this video. Honestly, it's uncomfortable, but the truth is, most seniors today are heading toward a reality they're not ready for. And if you're watching this, you probably feel it too. The anxiety about money running out, the fear of losing your independence, or the worry that the world is changing too fast to keep up. I'm going to break this down very clearly. What you do in the next few years will determine whether you thrive or struggle, and if you leave now, you'll miss the exact roadmap that could completely shift your future. So stay with me, because this isn't about fear, it's about creating certainty in a world that's rapidly changing. Most people underestimate the speed at which the world is changing, but seniors are especially vulnerable to this mindset. There is a natural tendency to believe that life will continue at the same pace it always has. But that belief is dangerous because the world today is evolving at a rate that's hard to even comprehend. Technology, healthcare, the economy, and even social structures are shifting at lightning speed, and those who fail to adapt get left behind. Think about technology alone. 20 years ago, smartphones didn't even exist. Now they control nearly every part of our lives, from banking to healthcare to communication. Artificial intelligence is advancing faster than any previous technology in human history. Entire industries are being disrupted in a matter of years, sometimes months. If you're not aware of these changes, you risk losing the ability to fully participate in the modern world. And it's not just about convenience. These changes directly impact your financial security, healthcare access, and even your independence. The cost of living is also accelerating. Inflation erodes savings faster than many seniors expect. Prices for everyday essentials, food, energy, housing, are increasing at a pace that outstrips most retirement plans. Relying on old assumptions about how far your money will go is a recipe for disaster. What seemed like enough 10 years ago might not even cover your basic needs today. Healthcare is another area where the speed of change can feel overwhelming. New treatments, technologies, and systems are constantly emerging. While these advancements can extend life and improve quality of living, they also create challenges. Navigating new insurance policies, treatment options, and rising costs requires staying informed and proactive. Seniors who don't keep up can find themselves excluded from care options or unprepared for the expenses associated with them. And let's not forget the pace of cultural change. Social norms, ways of working, and even how we interact with family are evolving. Communities that once felt stable and close-knit may now feel distant or fragmented. Seniors who don't actively adapt to these changes risk feeling isolated, disconnected, and irrelevant in a world that's moving on without them. The key takeaway is this: the future isn't slowing down for anyone. You can't afford to assume that what worked before will work now. You must be willing to continuously learn, adapt, and stay engaged. This doesn't mean you have to become a tech expert or an economist. It simply means you need to be open to change, willing to ask questions, and proactive about understanding how the world is shifting. Because here's the truth: the people who adapt thrive, the people who don't get left behind, and at this stage of life, getting left behind can have devastating consequences. We are living longer than ever before. Modern medicine, better nutrition, and advancements in healthcare have dramatically increased life expectancy. On the surface, that sounds like great news. But longevity without a plan can become a serious problem. More years to live can mean more years of financial stress, more years of declining health, and more years feeling disconnected if you're not prepared. Here's the reality most people don't want to face: living longer isn't automatically a blessing. If you haven't thought through how you're going to maintain your financial security, your health, and your sense of purpose for possibly decades beyond retirement age, those extra years can feel like a heavy burden. Let's start with finances. Many seniors assume that their savings or pension will be enough, but the average retirement fund is often built around the assumption of living 10-15 years after retirement. Today, it's not uncommon to live 25 or even 30 years longer. If your savings plan doesn't account for that extra time, you could outlive your money. And outliving your money isn't just a financial issue. It impacts your ability to access health care, stay in your home, and maintain independence. Healthcare itself becomes a bigger challenge the longer you live. As we age, the likelihood of chronic illnesses, hospital visits, and the need for assisted living rises dramatically. These costs can be staggering. Even with insurance or government programs, there are gaps in coverage that can quickly drain your resources. Seniors who fail to plan for these potential expenses often end up making heartbreaking sacrifices, selling their homes, relying heavily on family members, or skipping the care they truly need. But longevity isn't just about money and health care. Emotional and mental well-being matter just as much. If you don't plan for how you're going to stay engaged and connected, longer life can become a lonely and isolating experience. It's common for older adults to lose their social circles as they age. Friends and family move away or pass on, and opportunities to make new connections shrink. Without a plan to maintain strong relationships and a sense of purpose, the extra years can feel meaningless. This is why having a plan is so critical. You must think about how you're going to sustain not just your bank account, but your health, relationships, and daily sense of fulfillment. That plan might involve downsizing to cut costs, continuing to work part-time, staying physically active, learning new skills, or investing in long-term care insurance. The bottom line is this: longevity without a plan is dangerous. Living longer is only a blessing if you design those extra years intentionally. If you wait and hope for the best, the future could become harder than you imagine. But if you prepare now, you can make those years the best chapter of your life. One of the biggest misconceptions seniors have is that financial security is something you set and forget. You save for retirement, build up a nest egg, and then assume you're set for life. But this thinking is not only outdated, it's dangerous. Financial security is not a static achievement. It's an ongoing process, and if you don't manage it actively, you can watch decades of savings disappear far faster than you expect. Here's the truth: the economy doesn't stay still, and neither do your expenses. Inflation is the first threat. Even at a modest 3% per year, the cost of living doubles roughly every 24 years. That means what you thought was enough money at age 65 may feel like half as much by the time you're 80 or 85. Seniors who don't account for inflation in their retirement planning often end up forced to make difficult choices, downsizing their homes, cutting back on health care, or living a lower quality of life than they imagine. But inflation isn't the only problem. Unexpected expenses can destroy a retirement budget. One major medical emergency, home repair, or financial loss in the market can set you back years. And because many seniors live on fixed incomes, there's little flexibility to absorb these shocks. That's why it's critical to keep your money working for you instead of letting it sit idle. Another mistake is underestimating how quickly retirement funds can run out. Many people withdraw more than they should in the early years, assuming their savings will last. But when withdrawals are too high, especially during market downturns, you risk depleting your nest egg long before the end of your life. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it's one of the biggest threats to retirees who rely on investments for income. To stay financially secure, you need a dynamic strategy. That means regularly reviewing your budget, adjusting withdrawals, and finding ways to keep generating income even after retirement. Part-time work, consulting, rental income, or even starting a small business can add flexibility to your finances. It's also about making smart investment decisions, balancing safety and growth so your money doesn't lose value to inflation but isn't overexposed to risk. And don't overlook estate planning. Having your legal and financial documents in order, wills, powers of attorney, healthcare directives, not only protects you but also your family. The last thing you want is for your loved ones to be left with uncertainty or costly legal battles. Financial security isn't about luck or guessing. It's about actively managing your resources. The seniors who thrive are the ones who treat their finances as a living, breathing system that requires attention. If you assume your past work is enough and you stop looking, you may find the future becomes harder than you ever imagined. There's a saying we've all heard, health is wealth. But for seniors, this isn't just a nice motivational phrase, it's literal truth. Your health will determine the quality of your life in ways money alone cannot. Without it, even the most carefully saved retirement funds won't give you freedom or happiness. One of the biggest mistakes many seniors make is neglecting their physical health, assuming that medical care will fix things later. But by the time a serious health issue shows up, it's often much harder and more expensive to reverse. The better approach is prevention. Staying active, maintaining a balanced diet, getting regular checkups, and managing stress all play critical roles in extending not just your lifespan, but your health span, the number of years you remain healthy and independent. Think about it. Mobility is freedom. If you can move easily, care for yourself, and maintain independence, your day-to-day life is much richer. But once you lose mobility or develop chronic conditions, everything changes. Even simple activities, visiting family, traveling, running errands, can become exhausting or impossible. And when that happens, you don't just lose independence, you often lose confidence and purpose as well. Mental health is equally important. Loneliness and depression are major issues for seniors, and they have real physical consequences. Studies show that isolation can lead to higher risks of dementia, heart disease, and early death. Building strong social connections isn't optional. It's a necessity for long-term well-being. That might mean staying close with family, joining community groups, or even learning new skills to meet like-minded people. Health care costs are another reason to prioritize health now. Chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and arthritis can lead to decades of medical expenses, not to mention the emotional toll of living with ongoing pain or disability. By staying proactive, you reduce the likelihood of major health crises that could drain your finances and limit your lifestyle. Investing in your health also means adapting your environment. Your home should be a safe place that supports your needs as you age. Simple upgrades, like better lighting, handrails, or removing trip hazards, can prevent costly and life-altering accidents. Many seniors avoid these changes because they don't want to feel old. But the truth is, preparing your environment is an act of strength and foresight. Ultimately, the seniors who enjoy the best quality of life are those who treat their health like their most valuable asset. They don't wait for problems to appear. They stay ahead of them. They eat well, exercise regularly, get quality sleep, and stay engaged socially and mentally. Because here's the reality: money can buy comfort, but it can't buy vitality. Your health determines whether you enjoy your retirement or spend it in constant struggle, and the best time to take control is always now. As we age, it's easy to think that life naturally becomes quieter and more solitary. Friends move away, family members get busy with their own lives, and opportunities to socialize seem to shrink. But here's the hard truth: isolation is dangerous. Seniors who withdraw from the world risk more than just boredom. They risk their health, their happiness, and their very sense of identity. Connection and purpose aren't just nice to have, extras for later life. They're survival tools. Studies have shown that loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of dementia, heart disease, and depression. It chips away at your motivation and makes each day feel heavier than the last. Without strong social bonds, the extra years we've gained through medical advancements can become filled with emptiness instead of joy. But connection doesn't just happen, it requires effort. Many seniors wait for others to reach out, but the reality is you need to be intentional about building and maintaining relationships. That might mean staying in close contact with family, joining clubs or organizations, volunteering, or even taking classes to meet new people. It might mean embracing technology, video calls, social media, online groups, to stay connected even when distance is an issue. Equally important is having a sense of purpose. When we stop working, it can feel like we've lost the structure and goals that gave life meaning. Without a reason to get up in the morning, it's easy to drift into apathy. That's why it's so critical to find new ways to contribute and grow, no matter your age. Purpose can take many forms: mentoring younger generations, pursuing creative projects, caring for loved ones, or learning a skill you've always been curious about. Purpose also protects your mental sharpness. The brain, like a muscle, needs to be challenged to stay strong. When you set goals and stay engaged, you keep your mind active, which lowers the risk of cognitive decline. This isn't about being busy all the time, it's about living with intention. Another key factor is community. Humans are wired for connection and being part of a group, whether it's a faith community, a volunteer organization, or simply a group of friends, gives us a sense of belonging. Community reminds you that you're not alone, that you matter, and that you have value. The bottom line is this: connection and purpose aren't things you can postpone. They need to be built and nurtured now. When you surround yourself with people who care about you and spend your time on things that matter, every day becomes richer. You live longer, healthier, and happier. And isn't that what these later years should be about? One of the most dangerous myths about aging is that it's too late to change, too late to build financial security, too late to improve your health, too late to pursue dreams or create a life that excites you. But this belief couldn't be further from the truth. The future can still be built even now. The reason so many seniors feel stuck is because they believe their best years are behind them. That's a mindset problem, not a reality. History is full of examples of people who achieved extraordinary things later in life, starting businesses, writing books, learning new skills, and even completely reinventing themselves. The common thread: they refused to believe the clock had run out. It starts with a decision. You can either look at the years you have left and see limitations, or you can see opportunity, and make no mistake, there is opportunity. We live in an era where tools, knowledge, and resources are more accessible than ever. You can learn almost anything online, connect with people around the world, and even start businesses from your living room. But building a better future doesn't require grand gestures. Small, consistent actions lead to massive changes over time. If your finances need improvement, begin by creating a clear plan. Review your expenses, explore part-time income options, or speak to a financial advisor. If your health needs attention, start walking daily, adjust your diet, or join a fitness class designed for seniors. If you feel disconnected, make one phone call a day to someone you care about, or join a local club. The key is to shift from passive living to active building. Many seniors fall into the trap of simply reacting to whatever life throws at them. But when you take ownership of your future, you create momentum. That momentum fuels hope, and hope fuels action. And here's something powerful to remember: you still have the ability to leave a legacy. This isn't just about you. It's about the example you set for your family, your community, and even future generations. By showing that it's possible to grow and thrive at any age, you inspire others to do the same. Building a future now also means embracing change instead of fearing it. Technology, society, and the economy will keep evolving whether we like it or not. When you approach these shifts with curiosity instead of resistance, you open doors instead of closing them. The bottom line is simple: your story isn't over. You have chapters left to write, and they can be the most meaningful ones yet. But only if you take action. Choose to believe that the best is still ahead, and then start building toward it. One decision, one step, one day at a time.